What's good, world? It's your boy MasterMind, man, and I got the brother Fed Freeze back in the building. What's good,
What's up,
Freeze?
y'all? What's up, man? What's up? What's up?
Hey, man, we back with another one. This is a special episode, and we're gonna start doing this a lot more often, here, man, because we got a lot of meat and potatoes, juicy topics that we're talking about. The first episode really it catches some friction, you know what I mean, and the second one I think is gonna catch a lot more friction because we're gonna be talking about something that's actually trending right now. We're just gonna dive right into it, Fred.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
the first one we definitely want to dive into is the AI dealing with the voice in the gaming and the movie industry. So you know when they did the whole the protesting and whatnot, a lot of
yeah.
the movies that stopped being developed, because the AI is taking their voices and using it. So I didn't read the article all the way. I just kind of skimmed through it a little bit with the gaming side, but I'll probably touch more on it later on another episode in the gaming episodes. But we gonna still dive into it tonight. But basically, what's kind of going on with it's real similar to what happened in the movie industry. But this time, a lot of the gaming studios are saying like, look, we're gonna start protesting. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people saying a lot of developers, whatnot, we're gonna start protesting because if AI is gonna be taking our voices, taking our talent, or start doing this stuff for us, ain't no need for us to do it. So, what are your thoughts? Did you read the whole article on it?
Yeah, I read it, and it sounds a lot like how like you stated earlier with the Screenwriters Guild and
Mm-hmm.
other groups. They were coming together because the thing is, it's kind of like what we discussed with the music industry. The people
Mm-hmm.
who have the distribution abilities and that are cutting the checks on the top are trying to create these all in-house factories that is going to give people the most McDonald's fast food kind of entertainment. And AI is allowing them to have the tools. So that's affecting, well, number one, if used properly, AI could aid actual writers. It could aid actual, um, you know, voice actors. It could aid illustrators. It could aid people. But the thing is with the industry and people who shortcut, they just take whatever the output is and run with very little changes, which means you'll get a lot more vanilla stuff. I know a lot of people even try to use it in the songwriting space, but without the actual intent, which we said initially by AI, that's when it really just becomes a crutch. I'm trying to think about the words that come to mind, like an example of how it just becomes like it's like, how you just go to the dollar store and get something. It's a copy of something, so you're
Mm-hmm.
not getting any kind of innovation. You're not getting any kind of newness. Now, what's happening with the voice
Mm-hmm.
actors, you got a situation that, that's similar to what we talked about last show when we talked about them suing, even though the industries, the three big record labels aren't suing because they want to protect artists because they don't protect artists. They're actually suing to get control. Well, in this instance, you got the unions because these people are going to try to, just have one or two voice actors come in, do some voices, and then you got an AI, like say I will use something like 11 Labs or something like that, and you use it for the voiceover for a particular game. Like somebody goes in there and read it, they change their voice, that
Mm-hmm.
affects an industry. It would be a different story if you say, hey, a person can do a reading one time and then get residuals for the rest of his life every time somebody uses that. The company gets a residual, and then the individual gets a residual. That's a fair trade if you ask me. You see what I'm saying? If you did it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is when the companies come in and say, I'm going to use this, I'm going to take your voice and I'm going to maybe pay you that one time, but you ain't going to never get paid again. That's kind of like what happened when
It's
you
a
think
one-time
about.
payment.
Exactly. It's kind of like what happened when you got graphic designers, what graphic designers are up in arms about when they design your logo. Like the person who designed a Nike swoosh or the guy who did the smiley face, they didn't die wealthy from that. They ended up they did it. It was almost like a work for hire, and so basically they putting these people in the position of work for hire, and that's what this is about. Like, give the people with the skill set or with the initial voice a taste of the action. You could do that without overcharging the consumer. And see, these are the stages and these are the things that need to be kind of like spaced out. And like what we were saying with stuff like Web3 and other things, you could, the technology could be there to actually say, let's say if I had a quality voice or whatever, or if I was some kind of voice actor or whatever, that I wanted to put on an AI. If I loaded up a voice or you loaded up a voice or somebody, and somebody wanted to continue using your voice, we should be able to create a space where, hey, you can get your voice added to the
We
selection.
having connection issues.
Okay.
Hold on.
What I was saying was, it's kind of like what we discussed last week about the whole Web3 situation. It's like, this is a lot like what's happened with the SAG Actors Guild and so on and so forth. Like, this is a situation where people are suing because they're doing a work and this industry is treating them like they're doing a work for hire, right? So you're doing a one-time fee, you getting paid that one-time fee and never could, you ain't gonna never get paid again. You gotta think about it. Machine don't get tired, so they can use your voice for perpetuity and you never get another check, and another opportunity may not pop back up based on that because they'll be still using your voice. You know what I'm saying? And this is something we discussed about the music industry. Like, when you go back and look at what Will.i.am said, they in the business of making artists now. Like, when they say make artists, they mean literally create artists.
Making them, yeah.
So basically, you get a sound set together that you like. You train the voice right. This man has made podcasts. He's got a podcast with AI. So it's like with AI voices, and he's got a setup where the AI will respond to people, like in a video, like it was live on stage. Yeah. And he's got that machine learning where if somebody called into a number and it was acting like it was a person talking back to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. And what people are trying to do is you're trying to say, look, it's one thing if we're going to interact with this. But companies are trying to just basically be able to say, look, we want a one-time fee, somebody, and it ain't gonna be no life-changing money. It may just be enough to even get you a slice of pizza or something. So we're gonna give you this money, and that's gonna be it, and throw you out the door. And then you're not gonna have any other. You're gonna saturate the game because we control the platforms and we control the spaces. So you're just gonna be watched at that point. And
so it's pretty much. Go ahead.
So that's basically what the actual voice actors and so on and so forth are fighting. Because if it was fair, there's a way to do this that they could make it fair. There's, like I said, this could revolutionize things if, because that means it. Imagine if they had like a charting thing, right? And I go and I, apply my voice, right? You almost do it like how you do on YouTube, right? And people can go through voices. They like your voice. They start adding your voice to projects, right? You can even promote your voice, and basically, at which case, if they start adding your voice to projects, you get a little taste of that project. You get that percentile cost that they paid to add your voice as a premium voice. The company gets paid as the service that deliver it, and with the AI, you get paid because you're the voice actor, whatever that royalty is. You see what I'm saying? Make it better than Spotify, please. Don't make it 0.0000. Don't make it some foolishness like that. But make it something like that, and then have an RIA component that keeps up to how many people are getting it, yada, yada, yada. And just pay people accordingly. I think that's how you would actually make that work. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be a royalty system or something to let people get a little taste of the action. The issue I have with the record labels and stuff, with their lawsuit with Suno and Udio, is the fact that I know they ain't taking care of no artists no way. The only thing they're suing for is they're suing so they can actually control the AI. They're gonna cut a Spotify deal, like I said, and everybody gonna be robbed anyway. So, I don't get excited about them doing that because the little man's not gonna get protected in that case anyway. It's just gonna be like who gonna try to control the game. So really,
Yeah.
that's what this is all about. It's like who gonna control the game and make sure you get an artist a taste or get a people who doing the work a taste. I mean that I think that's the thing. You're gonna have to bring people to the table because if not, like AI just doesn't have intent. What we call AI, there's no intent in it, and there's no
Hmm.
it doesn't innovate. It's just a tool that say if I got
Replicate.
laryngitis or I lose my voice, but I was a good voice actor, I could still eat off my voice. You think
By
about
using AI.
exactly. Think about DOC and what's that other rapper from Beanie Siegel, right? They both
Hmm.
had accident. Like, well, Beanie, I think he was sick, and DOC, he was in that car accident. DOC was thinking about training AI on his voice so he could do his future album, his
Hmm.
young voice. See, that's the thing you could do.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're older artist or you whatever, and you train you like you kind of whatever, man, you can still have your youthful voice back if there's any changes in it. DMC from Run DMC had vocal cords issues. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if he wanted to do something, man, he could do that. Sit in the studio with a producer, get the stuff written down, boom, new DNC app. You know,
Yeah.
so so
So
that
so
that's
look. So look.
go ahead.
Three things I'm thinking about. One, how would someone train the AI to, what I'm saying, like if they don't have a voice, how would someone train the everyday person train the AI to use their vocals? That's the other thing.
There's
And go ahead.
there's a couple of AI which I really wish I'd have had this on hand, but there's a couple of AIs that you can train right now with your voice. Like more than a couple actually. That
Mm,
you can teach it your voice and your voice becomes one of I think even with 11 labs. Like you can use 11 labs and uh I know is it not UberDuck um which was one of the original that came out when they had all those stars. You can train those, and there's a couple others that are out there that are big. You can train. You even got one that if you can't sing, like Lala, I believe Lala does this because it has stem separation, but it also has a point. I believe. Don't quote me on this because I need to verify that if I sing, it will actually sing on my behalf. It's either that or 11 Labs doing that as well. You see what I'm
mm,
saying? So
yeah.
and I can choose a singing voice, right? And it like all I have to do is harmonize and get it in range, and it's going to try to sing it as well, and it will, actually do better than me. So, but as far as my own clear voice, it's going to ask me to read something, read prompts uh, clearly in a controlled environment, like we're doing a podcast, and it will, pick all those voice qualities up, and then after a while, you can go in this type, and it's just like mastermind talking.
Dang,
That's
that's
it.
crazy. So so
That's
so
it.
look, I want to touch on the other two statements because what you were saying earlier. So if one company, basically whoever owns the AI owns the other person's vocals, pretty much. So if you got this big corporation that owns the AI and you're training the AI, or everybody is using the same AI that's training the AI, this corporation still controls the AI, which now controls the vocals. So that's one. The other thing too is it keeps taking me back to Web3 is the solution to a lot of this stuff. And when we speak about Web3, you have to mention blockchain technology because that's part of the Web3 revolution. So we're gonna come back to the movies and the games, but just still thinking about the music, and now thinking about the movies and the games. So if the corporations or whatever, like you said, do it fair, was to distribute out like for, let's say for example, somebody in Ohio was training an AI, and this movie company or this gaming company or this music company, like what this person in Ohio, he wrote a movie script, he did a song, he created a game, all through AI. And this movie corporation or this game corporation, whatever the corporation that owns the AI, they can distribute or pay him fairly through the blockchain. And for one, by it being a secure ledger and it's always there, you can easily just find the wallet. Oh, this is the wallet that did such and such. Boom, airdrop them something, send them something. You know what I'm saying? That's the solution I think we can have that can actually fix the AI situation. But without that, I can't think of no other solution. You know what I mean? So if someone in Ohio is not utilizing Web3 or blockchain technology, there's no other way to kind of pay them unless you like track them down and be like, hey, we've been looking for you for years. Here's your payment for using AI. We use with your scripts and stuff. We use this stuff in such and such game. We use this stuff in such and such movie or in a song or whatever. Now we want to pay you in cash. So I think utilizing the blockchain would be the solution for AI. But now I'm thinking about on the developers and like big group development, like for the games, for example, if they delay Grand Theft Auto 6, you feel what I'm saying, because the developers are protesting, that's going to be an issue. You're talking about one of the biggest games of all time. Grand Theft Auto 6 is highly anticipated. And these guys are, some of these people are like protesting, you feel what I'm saying? And they want answers, because if they're not getting paid or they're not getting their recognition, and they're going to delay the game, which is going to make everyone angry. So it's like the pushback to a lot of this stuff, but it's like, what's the solution at the end of the day?
What the solution is kind of like what I was saying. I mean, yeah, you can use decentralized models eventually like that, but the problem is greed, is corporate greed. Like
Corporate
this
greed.
the big issue is, if a company can outsource like to cheaper labor, it always tries to do that at the detriment of the worker, right? So it's because if you look at animation in the United States, for instance, like after COVID, like now they've gotten to the point where they've laid off like 85% of the workforce in animation. And animation has gotten crummy in the United States because people are taking shortcut means and going to these outsourced studios that are overseas, and now AI is getting in the game, and people are starting to do these like tired models that have no art or no skill to it, and so all of it is looking like bleh. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's nothing that anybody could tie to, but they're basically just feeding you rubbish, right? So you destroy the art of it. Basically, you're gonna make some short-term money, because like I always tell people, you can make, like, if me and you were making a song, we can make a song about the most crazy, absurd crap and look and hit that lotto. When you're doing entertainment, you could do, getting money off entertainment is just platform and visibility, right? But if you do something that's lasting or has some kind of intent or teeth to it, it has a kind of staying power. It's kind of like what we call the difference in the music industry between catalog music and just that day glow pop music that's hot for the time period or the year or whatever, and people forget the person exists, right? They call them one wonders,
Right.
they call them whatever. So
Yeah.
so basically right now, like, corporations are trying to use AI to make their fast food environment bigger. They're trying to use AI to outsource as an outsource agent, which kind of, they always talk about industry disruption, but this is not disruption as much as classic greed. The disruption would be kind of like what happened when things went from the newspaper. The best way to put it, like, people don't realize how many people it used to take to make a newspaper before the newspaper totally went away by technology, right? So it used to take a room full of people. Man, that was a whole career field. Print was a career field. And then people talk about what happened. I got people who tell me stories, like my illustration instructor, when they came in the room and handed a secretary the books of Photoshop, and the older guys, they weren't gonna look at that crap. They were Princeton. They knew how to make print.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they basically ignored it. She sit down with it, learned it, and she was able to do all like a room full of people's jobs. You know what I'm saying? Sitting at her desk, right? Arranging the paper and stuff. So that's disruption. That's a disruption right there. Now, you know, the industry, they went toward the technology, and then when you used to have X number of people doing all this stuff, it turned into just a few people in a room. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Putting together this product. So that's what happened with magazines. That's what happened to newsprint, and then eventually it was totally usurped because, you know, people they holding their newspaper in their hand with their phone, with their That's got problems too, because you see again that destroyed journalism is destroying
Yeah.
journalism, right?
Yeah.
Because
False
now
information
anybody,
and all that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you in the age of misinformation. You don't have a reputable journalistic board that can be whatever. You got too many personalities. It's a lot going on. So that's the counter effect of it. And I think in this new AI digital space, there's gonna have to be some rules, because people are still gonna have to exist in the space, and you want quality material. If you want quality material, you're gonna have to work with people. And like I said, the best way to do stuff to compensate people is the platform. Like, if Spotify was platformed correctly, which would cost a lot more money, there should be stuff like you got digital, some kind of like you said, digital wallet. Like that is the way that that if you got decentralized methods where the companies can't just strong arm everybody, like basically you have if all the artists could set up some and it's decentralized, right? And you basically set up and say, look, you buy this, you go buy the MasterMind album and you gonna have a piece of it in your wallet, right? But that means you put your wallet information, or not wallet, but just token. You put your token into Spotify. You pay a Spotify token monthly, right? But that's because so whatever you upload to it, you can now play it through this player and stream it anywhere. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the game. That's the game. So you
but
do
corporate
something.
greed is what's blocking that, though.
Yeah, that's it. Because see, that gives artists power. That gives artists power. And in which case, how does the big man get a taste of what I just said? I just killed the middleman. So that means that if I release something, and let's say I get something to go on fire as an independent, and and let's say 10,000 or 50,000 people give me something sitting in a wallet based on that. Plus, I'm gonna make residual income when you put a token into a machine that lets you play it wherever you want to, and you ain't got it whatever. So everything. So basically, you initially give the artist a fee, a one-time fee for their album, for the album you got. And even if they and there's other ways you could do stuff that break this down. You see what I'm saying? But that's how you do, and it's the same thing with vocals. Like if I perform a vocal, if you pretty much, I think TrackLib tried to handle sampling like that. Instead of trying to rob everybody, you sign up to TrackLib. People who don't care their stuff being sampled, they put their stuff on TrackLib. You can use those beats in your song and pay a one-time fee for go ahead and use it. And then you got those mechanical fees that go on the back end. You straight, you out here. See, everybody, the person that owns the catalog, they get paid. The person that did the other stuff, they get paid. Everybody get paid. We out here. That's the way it's supposed to be. But instead, you got the middlemen. It's like, how do I get my money? I created the infrastructure. I did this. I still want my, and that's money. That money power is hard to get people off the stage. It's hard.
Yeah.
So and that's what's going on with AI. It's not even the guys who developing AI. They ain't thinking about it. That's why you finna see them at war with a lot of old industry folk. And basically, like I said, it's how the industry is using the AI that's the problem. You see what I'm saying? You could use the AI as a help to artists and a help to people who do voiceover work. And even look at video games. A lot of these dudes, like, they getting assets and stuff from AI. You see what I'm saying? to make these quick gains, which affect some of the development houses. Now, again, I have no problem with some of the stuff because hey, I'm telling you, I want to do some uh animation and I want to do some game stuff with AI. But that's good for the small people. That's good for people who just want to get their small idea out. That's the same thing I told people about Suno and Udio. When you listen to that music, if you really think that's going to compete, you ain't never recorded a song. Now they say, oh, it's getting better and better every day. I said, man, I done heard that stuff. It ain't blowing me away. I think it's good, and I think it's good if you like to play around, make your own look. It's just another way for you to play around. But if you know what you're doing, and you get the stems, and you go in and chop it up, change it, play something against it, add your own little stank on it, you're producing at that point. You see what I'm saying? But if you sit up there and just take whatever the machine gets you and just put it out there, man, yeah. So I ain't saying you get some good stuff occasionally. You probably will, but and they say, well, it'll flood the system. That speaks to the system. When they say, oh, they'll flood Spotify, they'll flood this. If that's happening, that lets you know Spotify itself is broken. That means that you robbing artists. You gangstering other artists. So now another criminal that came on the scene is trying to scam you. It's weird. It's like artists are caught between two people trying to scam each other, right? Like the creatives are caught between everybody trying to scam each other and everybody scamming them. Like the label scamming them. Then like if somebody just start doing the mimicry of their voice or whatever and puts out something, they'll scam them. But then the label be like, man, you can't scam him. I'm scamming him. Yeah. And you sitting up there like, could you please stop scamming folks? So basically, at the end of the day, if they created the right platform, let people get paid off their work, off their initial work that they created, make hard, fast rules that, it requires certain manipulation before you can monetize certain things and, and just kind of go, because even down to how you mix it, because like people don't understand mixing and mastering and engineering is an art form that brings new life to a track. You know what I'm saying? So what you take out and take away when you get them stems, they're gonna be a different animal. So anyway, but that's the whole game. Because like I said, once I'm gonna say this, I know I go long on this because I'm passionate about it, but I still say that the Udio and Suno lawsuit, which I know is going back to last week, is frivolous nonsense. Not because it's not protecting artists. You're not trying to protect artists. There's nothing in that that's really protecting artists. Because it's all about those major labels and they gonna just cut a deal. Do something to protect artists for real and give them they just dues if they sample, if that's what you want to do, or give them the opportunity, like you said, through Web3 and Coinbase stuff, so they can get paid off the initial rip and get some residual if anything happens, and make it easy so that the back end user can do that. You see what I'm saying? So that the fan that wants to, if I wanted to play with an Eminem lyric, or if I wanted to play with this, and he was gonna get based on the percentage of the song I sample or percentage or whatever, he gonna get X because I sampled this. Cool. Make it clean, make it simple, make it affordable, make it make sense. He's whole. If 1,000 people do it, he getting this. If 1,000,000 people do it, he getting that. You feel me?
That's how if you think about it, it's kind of like the NFTs. So if a person have an NFT with the smart contracts, that's integrated within the NFT. So if I sell you my art, NFT, and 99 other people, you trade this NFT, you sell it to somebody else, the original person that made the NFT still gonna get paid. So I think that's also that's part of the Web3 and the blockchain solution. Start integrating these smart contracts through these platforms. And like you said, with the AI companies, they're gonna be butting heads with these main industries. But it's just like at some point y'all gonna have to come together and move with the technology and not use the technology. You're gonna have to use it and move with it. You know what I mean? So we in some interesting times. But this takes me on to the next topic. This takes me to the perfect timing, because what do you think about AI taking over like the everyday people? like the retail jobs or whatnot. So the same way how we spoke about corporate greed in the industries, now we in this AI age, let's bring it down to the everyday people that's not in the industry. Let's move on to the retail space. For example, Walmart, Target, Costco, we're looking at self checkouts and stuff. That's almost AI, but the next stage of this stuff is, oh, perfect example. The Amazon store that's in San Francisco. They ain't even got nobody working in the store. You could just walk in the store, you pick up an item. Once you pick it up, you already paid for it. Like it's already detecting you. It's there. You walk out the store, you good. Self checkouts, like the next age of the everyday people in retail space is changing slowly, but well, I would say rapidly and slowly at the same time. For example, Walmart, they're talking about um, basically having AI throughout the store in 2026. Meaning, well, okay, you already got self checkouts. For a lot of that stuff that they do within the stores, AI is going to be doing. You know what I mean? And if you look at what Amazon did in their warehouse, they just let go thousands of people because now AI is now moving the orders around, picking the orders, and getting the orders ready and different stuff like that. And when you think about what Target, what they're doing too, they're integrating AI within the company. So when you speak about that corporate greed, they're still these CEOs and the high ups, they're still going to be getting paid, even though the company is going to be using AI that's going to cut. It's kind of like a pyramid effect. AI is going to cut down maybe 20-25%, maybe even more than that of the jobs, but the big wigs is still going to be getting paid. The question is, what's the solution for the everyday people with AI? And the thing I can suggest and kind of speak on, is the only thing I can think of is outside of the blockchain situation is us as people, we have to learn how to use AI. Like you have to figure out how can AI help me do my job and how can AI help me in my everyday life. Because if we don't learn these things, it's gonna move us out the way. Even in
Well,
the, like I said, the retail space and the everyday of living space. Go
well,
ahead.
well, well, you got to remember that this technology type thing has happened. It happens every time, and they call it disruption, but it's just again it's corporate greed, and the problem is there's diminishing return. Like one thing that they're finding, because you'll hear their retail theft is up 11 billion, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you'll hear that some people are choosing not to deal with those spaces because they need customer service and they don't like it. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So
Yep.
they're running into that heavily. So some people are backtracking and they're only partially integrating it. It's kind of like with self-driving cars. Like without proper infrastructure, it doesn't make sense. Then there's the diminishing return that comes into um, you can't displace so many people and have anybody left to buy your product. You're only gonna have, because you can't. You want the maximum number of people buying your product. So that means you have to lean to a government and say we got to give these people uh, a guaranteed earned amount of quote unquote credits or something for us to keep this whole shebang going, right? If you want a
Mm-hmm.
consumer model, because you're not going to be able to say we've cut down on the ways that consumers can make money and limited it to the point to the point where now even fewer consumers can buy my product. Because see, that's why Walmart was getting their lunch ate by the dollar store. Like Walmart, the people who threaten Walmart is the dollar store. Don't nobody realize that. It's like
Mm-hmm.
because they go into low socioeconomic areas and they supply the quick need stuff for them. Like they probably spend more time in the dollar store than these other big box retailers. Whereas Walmart and them, they are on the backs of the malls and all these other places. They took like really Sears need to be beat with a fan belt and yes, that, but they let Amazon come in and take their whole business model. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, but basically, at the end of the day, what's going to have to happen is there's going to have to be some kind of there's going to have to be a balancing act, because there's a diminishing return on your product. You know what I'm saying? Past a certain point,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot pretty much squeeze blood from a turnip. And if you destroy your consumer, there's no way they can consume. Even Henry Ford,
Yeah, true.
one of the reasons why, and I don't think this was Ford did this directly, but people realize, hey, only a few people can afford an automobile. I'm gonna have to raise wages so that they'll buy my product. I'm gonna have to provide space so that they buy my product. If I want them to shop in my stores, I'm gonna have to do this. So, like I told you, the dollar stores, they sit there and they eat away at Walmart, and they sit in their shadows and eat away at. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they have to make decisions on what do I want to do. These closeout stores, these other stores, they sit there at the peripheral and they take Walmart down. And you notice that Walmart, like when you look at the local Walmart, some of them trying to compete with Target now, because people started going to Target because they didn't want to bother with Walmart anymore. Like a certain subset with disposable income just will go to Target and Publix. That's where they'll go.
Yep.
The people who are, your regular everyday Joes, they in Walmart. You see what I'm saying? Like Walmart and got to the point now it's expensive enough that you could call it something else, but it's doing its thing. And then you got below that, and I know somebody like, you think Walmart's bad? I'm like, whatever, falling prices my butt. But that's how it is.
Yeah.
That's how it is. So that's the issue with the whole AI taking certain jobs. Yeah, it's going. I think there's a switch. I think that retail and how do you call it? There's a thing that people used to call these strip malling, and I think that they oversaturated market share. That's what's killing them. And you're gonna have to bring back some of the small town elements that used to be. You gotta have more localized things, and then you could get some artificial intelligence to work with helping the workers there. You see what I'm saying? But
yeah,
but just having these big box chain things where people walk in, because I know even at our Sam's, now they got that big tower thing, and they used to have people at the door, and they still there, but now when you scan out, heck, you try to hand them your ticket, they be like you good, bye. Because the thing is already scanned.
Yeah.
If you didn't try to get something off, I guess it's inventory check, right? You probably would have to remove the indicia or something like that. You see what I'm saying? To get the thing out of it now, so you got to be in there cutting the indices off. I'm not.
Yeah,
but see, y'all. Don't be.
Yeah.
Hey, this ain't on our podcast, man.
But see, something I was thinking about is too, what's gonna come along with that is convenience.
Yep.
Convenience is another thing that's moving along with technology. If you think about food ordering, that's convenient for the consumer. You feel me? So the more convenient it becomes for the everyday people,
but they gotta have money.
I think that's what.
Because the only people that's buying, like say McDonald's and stuff like that, is a certain subset. The people with money, they may get a McDonald's every now and then just because they out, right? And that's just the thing that's near them. But people that have, the higher paying jobs, or they have jobs that's doing certain things that allow them to do more, they're going to make different options. You see what I'm saying? So some of these companies, when people say, oh, the economy's bad, I said, no, some of these companies, number one, they get involved with venture capital firms, and they get, like that's what happened to Red Lobster and them. They get bought by these venture capitalist firms. They get loans against the company, put the debt against the company, and sink the company. That's what happened to Toys R Us, right? Like, it's not that the company, like, things are so bad. People are shopping there, but the company has been saddled with so much debt they can't overcome it. Well, when you got your Red Lobsters and stuff like that, they would work in the microcosm if they made franchising work, right? And the people could get a hold of the property, right? They would make it work. But you can't make it work if if your employees can't eat there, right? Your employees' family can't eat there.
Mhm.
You can't, and nobody can purchase anything. You know what I'm saying? So now you gonna go out of business. It's gonna be a swath of people going out of business because it's like technology will kill the goose that laid the golden egg, which is the consumer. Because then the consumer will have to pull back and say, "Man, I'm just gonna cook at the house. Ain't no way." You know what I'm saying? What little money I do make,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to just use it to people go back to that. Okay, now all that convenience culture gone. Because now you back to because that's why I always told people about the music industry. I said the funny thing is everything's coming full circle because the music industry was initially started when you had people like Hank Williams Jr. tours being sponsored by Mother's Best Flowers, or you have blues singers that you get from the Delta, like where they stole their music and they were actually, some company would back them going around doing. They would be almost pitchmen for products. Or they would take, of course, they couldn't be pitch men at a particular time, but they would take the song and it became a pitch, part of the pitch. And it's like, because people don't realize people get records and stuff with stuff, or they would get this, or they get it was just all kinds of little stuff. So it was like that was like how some things began in earnest, besides people just the technology of them recording things on a cellular or a record. But now, we're in another stage where you get at that break point where you got to balance it. Like the industries that even with their greed, they've got to say, hey, I've got to make enough headroom where MasterMind can still get some money. So MasterMind would take that money and be like, man, I ain't ate tonight, man. I got to go grab some. I guess I'm going to just grab this quick burger. You know what I'm saying? And you can afford the burger, right? But if you get to the point where it's like you go to pay for something, and there's nobody hardly working there, and it's still expensive. And that's another thing. If you gonna do all this automation and stuff, that means you ain't paying for nothing. Your prices better go way down. You know what I'm saying? So that means all you're paying for is the actual material. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, if that means I'm almost to be back to 5 cents a burger, right?
Yeah. And see, let me show you something. See, this is something I'm thinking about because I'm gonna paint the whole picture for you. Let's say a corporation got 20 workers. They pay all of the 20 workers 15, 16, or whatever. You get 2 AI bots that order these 2 AI bots from Tesla. Tesla already said they're finna be shipping out these AI bots to everybody in 2026. You get two AI bots that can do all 20 of these workers' jobs for a much cheaper price. That saves the company money, and now the company can use that money to invest more into AI, or they can also use that money to invest more into the product. Along with that comes lowering the price of the product.
They ain't doing that.
So boom,
they ain't gonna lower no price.
They ain't. But what if let's say if a company wouldn't have the corporate greed, and they fire like a majority of the workers. You may have a couple workers there, but they just come in to make sure the bot, doing what it need to do, and they just come in and making sure the bot doing what it need to do, and the bot is working. You order your product, you pick it up. You feel what I'm saying? That convenience, and I don't think that convenience would go away because we're stuck in the culture of,
I get that.
we go back to the music industry of. Yeah, I heard you were saying killing the goose for the golden egg, but we stuck in the culture of consumerism to where people love the entertainment, they love the quick, the fast, the right now. And I think if the Western society of America continue to go down which we is, look at what TikTok done did to our society. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, I mean,
so if you look
I honestly say that's just overall generations of low socioeconomic behavior and lack of spending in the infrastructure of the country. But what they generally do, I'm telling you, what they did is they're at a point right now. You're at an inflection point. You can't have it both ways. I mean, I know what people may want, but they can't have it both ways, right? If a person ain't making money, because you can go to any of these small towns, go to any small town in a rural state, right? They don't got a lot of things going on over there, right? You go there, there's husks of buildings, there's whatever, and there's not a lot of employment. Like we live in cities that
Right.
a lot of people, a lot of cities talk about. There's a lot of blight, right? And there's a lot of whatever, and people are like, oh, this area is gonna grow, and I said, that area is not gonna grow. They said, what do you mean? I said, that area is not gonna grow because there's no economic development, there's no job. You know, when you look at low socioeconomic stuff, that goes hand in hand with other stuff. So that affects, like, when you get to your suburbs and all these other places, that's when you got like people, they may not have a lot of disposable income, but they have a little bit more. They can pay for convenience. People with money can pay for convenience.
Yeah.
People without money
right.
can't pay. If my pool is small, when you go to places like India and stuff like that, that's basically the type of system that you end up creating. You will have this wealthy top, which that's the danger, and that's international. That's India. That's the world. That's the way it is, and that's not, number one, it's not sustainable for the planet, and it's not sustainable for sustainable civilizations, because what happens is eventually is violent revolt. So basically, at the end of the day, they got to make a decision. Do they want to boil a frog slow? You know what I'm saying? Give a person enough stuff that they'll go buy their stuff. Give a person enough money that they're going to go buy their stuff. And that's basically what you're looking at. Like, that's why I said, as soon as this stuff happens, what do they start complaining about? Retail theft. They start, in some major cities, you got smash and grab games. You got this, that, and the third. People are doing stuff against it, and it's after a while it becomes untenable and not worthwhile. It's an experiment that fails. Now, the smart way to use this technology would be like, say I'm Amazon or whoever, and I got a spot. You know how you got your 24-hour gyms and stuff? I got a Sam's card. If you got a person with disposable income and they need something, like say I'm on vacation or whatever, you got like stores that, hell, if ain't nobody in it, the lights may go off, right? So basically, you go up to the store, you scan your card. That means for that time period, you in the store. And everybody else, they come in with you. Y'all all in the store. They know y'all in the store at that time. So at that point, then now you pick up an item. You got the disposable income. You could whatever. And if they smart, they could drop prices around that, right?
Yeah.
But you can only do that for niche stores, and they need to be bodega small stores, right? Like compact stores, like like you do those what do you call it, neighborhood Walmarts or whatever, stuff like that. That'd be as large as it ever could be. And you just live your life, right? That's a convenience, right? But other than that, you're gonna need some kind of service agent somewhere if you don't get certain things. And the service agents, they come out and they help when some whatever. And that's what because like that's the one thing, like for instance, the reason why people go to Target instead of Walmart is because if I stop and ask somebody something at Target, they actually readily help me and get me in a direction and go look it up and often take me somewhere, right?
Yeah.
If I go to Walmart and ask somebody a question, I get punched in the face, and I'm probably going to fight in the middle of the store. It's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's because of how Walmart treats their employees, and they don't really put value on that. They put value on other things, like hurry up and get the stuff out on the shelf. And, and it's like, it's crazy. Like, it just don't make no sense. And then look at what Target will put in stores and what Walmart will put in stores. Look at what Publix will put in stores, and look at where, other stores will put their store. And you see the audience that they go after with it. And then, what I'm saying? So there's reasoning behind all of that. So, you just gotta, the big thing is, I think, and even the fast food chains who tried it, they found that some things are backfiring on them, right? They tried it. Like, even the funny thing is, you had McDonald's doing that little kiosk, and it was hilarious. Like the stuff that was going wrong. But the problem is, you gotta have that balance. When you get a certain group, there's certain people, they have disposable income, they can do whatever. So yeah, they can call for certain things, or they may be able to work out certain things, but you're gonna have to put some money in the system so that the average citizen can afford products. Because if they can't afford products, then what's the use of making a product?
Yeah. But see, look, that take me to what I was going to say was universal income.
Yeah, that's it.
At
That's
some
it.
point in
Yeah.
time, at some point in time, we're going to have to integrate universal
We've been
income.
saying that.
And along with that, and see what along comes with that is, all right, you integrate universal income.
Yeah, I hear you.
You end up pausing when the phone comes through.
Okay.
So when you integrate universal income, that same universal income that we have, we can now go buy the product, and we can also, along with the product, we can feed the AI. And now we're feeding the AI, we're getting paid just to live at this point.
Yeah.
We get paid just to live, make babies, and make more humans on this world that can power the AI. Because if the humans are not here, like you said, to buy and consume things, then what is the AI doing? Serving no one. Two, we take the voices. Let's say if we train out, we training these AIs with human voices. If the AI has a normal human voice or whatever, we would tolerate the AI a lot better versus that just a traditional AI. Like when you call in a bank or somebody and you speaking to AI, I hate that. I hate it.
It's about to get,
you feel
it's about to get way
need
better. Because if you saw what will.i.am did, man, it's
yeah.
over with. Like, and that's gonna be
that's what I'm saying.
it's over with.
So if AI can get a humanoid voice and really help you and interact with you, yeah, of course. Because at this point, I'm getting paid to live, make babies, and to make sure AI is flourishing on this earth. We could, and plus, if you got a society that's stuck in consumerism, you feel what I'm saying? Oh, it's a win-win on both sides at some point. But still, at some point, I still do think, along coming with all this stuff, the humans has to be educated on technology, and along with this whole technology of information, AI is in that, blockchain technology is in that, Web3, all this information and knowledge is in that. It's like a little pill. Every human, even in the country, everywhere across, everywhere, boom, everywhere that ain't got jobs, we're gonna have to learn something about this technology.
I think it's gonna be a level of integration with that. But the big thing is they're gonna have to solve the environmental issues. They're gonna, because this takes a lot of energy. They're gonna have to solve. Like I said, the big thing is we do need to get to some kind of universal standard income, like just normalized. Because really, the way systems should be, like the things that you're purchasing, you got your premium things that you're purchasing, you got your base things, and the base things shouldn't be substandard. You see what I'm saying? So, so basically, somebody gets, good, but if I can go get some socks, some standard regular socks, they can be different colors, whatever. But if I want Gordon got trail socks or whatever, then yeah, you pay a little bit more money because that's Gordon got trail socks, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
And then guess what? I can have my robo-taxi Tesla to go pick it up for me. You feel what I'm saying?
And again, and the only way that works is when they, like I said, they go green. Because like I said, we should have, and we could talk about this later, but they should have had bullet trains a long time ago. But you got the auto industry to fight it. If you want to have self-driving cars and stuff like that, I don't see you doing it without bullet trains and actually creating space for which the infrastructure for which these cars and stuff can exist. You need to have walkable cities. You need to have ports. So basically that will cut down on driving. Because like I was coming back from just 20 minutes up the street, you get hit with crazy traffic. You don't know where it's coming from. And it's insane. And then it just dissipates. Whereas, and this is the type of foolishness that shouldn't happen. So that's what we need to do. They need to go ahead and rethink how they got the cities laid out, rethink how they got communities laid out, and the needs. Because like I said, there's a balance. Some, ain't no school like the old school, as they always say. And like sometimes you got to get back to the butcher baker, the candlestick maker, so you can actually go ahead and build up a few. So you got to have these niche shops and stuff like that. The box retailers, they killed a lot of that. but you're gonna have to have that. But I think you could decentralize. You could even have it where people are having direct partnerships with larger corporations to get supplies as long as they're not parasites. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these are the type of things that can happen. And that would help small business, that would fill areas out. You see what I'm saying? It would, like, that way, it's like there's a lot of things. Because that's what I told people. I said, Sears, they should be ashamed of themselves for letting Amazon do that. But they were not forward thinking. They were trying to do something else. They were too busy trying to, we gonna get this retail. We gonna get out here and compete with Walmart in this space. And I'm like, so we gonna buy Kmart. Again, I'm sitting up there standing looking. I'm like, sir, you bought Kmart. The best thing they had going was their actual a restaurant in Kmart. And if you know, you know.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. I just don't understand. I just really don't.
And this something else too. And we're gonna hold this topic for another episode, because it's also another meat and potato. So the same way how you gonna have a society of technorism. I don't know if that's a word, but it sounds really cool.
Technocratic society.
The same way you're gonna have, same way you have that. I was speaking with a farmer. And we was basically saying that a food shortage is coming on down the line, years to come, really, really soon. We gonna have to learn how to start growing our own stuff. Now, along that comes with that, you're gonna have the AI bots and all this other stuff going on, but you're gonna also have to have the humans that only a job that the human can do, and that's something like growing your own crops and the food and whatnot. Now the AI can, help out with that, but we're gonna have to come back to a point of society to where we're growing our own crops, and small communities have to start working together, and they can use AI to help them to kind of stay as a community and work together, and they partner within the community, and especially on top of the universal income. If you get universal income into this whole community, and this community growing their own crops, they got their own water, their own little small stores, plus they got their own community AI bots on top of the universal income. Now you're looking at a small economy of a society that know how to fend for themselves and can kind of do on their own little doing of time. Now I think you're gonna have something like that on top of the upper rich class, or communities that's not, they working together but not so much, but they got so much money they can just have their bots that just do everything for them. All they got to do is just continue to pay, and they getting a smaller check of universal income. But you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be two sides to this situation.
Yeah, because I will reserve my thoughts on that risk factor. But my thing is, at the end of the day, that's correct. Neo-agrarianism, because with climate and all this other stuff, distortions that are coming anyway, don't care what anybody says, go outside. Climate distortion and stuff like that is coming,
right.
And it's happening. And so neo-agrarianism, being in the agrarian state and stuff like that, that's an important thing. That will revitalize small towns and stuff like that, and it also gives people healthier food, reconnects them with the land, and also does all kinds of other stuff. So that's been a thing. I always feel like, there should be, like, when you walk down the street, instead of having all this trash and stuff, even in city centers, there should be like fruit trees and stuff like that around. Especially in climate, in the southern cities and climate cities, there should be like, a neo-agrarian gardens. You need to, like you got places like Beham, which are like post-industrial cities. People need to really go do soil samples and really clean this mess up. Like, see what get these people away from these daggum railroad tracks and all this other crap. And like, if there's land that ain't like totally screwed from all of the chemical dumping and crap like that, and did convert it into some, that's where people can actually get food. You know what I'm saying? So handle these type of things. That, like I said, housing and food should not be a problem. Like, universal basic income should not be a problem. That's a societal stabilizer that allows you to build other things, but you got to get there. So yeah, I agree with that. My big thing is, like I said, the only thing with retail and stuff like that, they're learning that they got to have a balance. You know, you know, what we were saying initially to bring it on home is they know that they gotta have a balance, right? And if they don't have a balance, they're going to lose their customer base, because there's only so much you can do like that. You know, you can see some warehousing and stuff like that, but then eventually everything hits the wall, because like I told you, one big problem with tech is the biggest thing tech sells us is a drink, right? The hardest thing in the world is the variables of existence, and nothing is a perfect cyclical line, right? So basically, a perfect linear line, not cyclical. Anyway, but it's linear. So basically, nothing is a perfect line when it comes to that. You have to you're gonna go through all of these issues with whatever you put out there. And the problem is, we always have to deal with people who are working from the greed principle, which is what has happened with what we were talking about with the how the SAG actors and everybody else having to sue, because you got a new technology that could be helpful, but you're not using it to take care of people. You're using it to exploit, and that's generally what happens to our manufacturing jobs. You just send them to another place, you know what I'm saying, which destroyed your middle class that had been building since after World War II, right? So that's when you do that type of stuff. Now you're saying, oh man, we got to bring them back. This is my point. Like, you got to understand. So that's what folks do. They give a big payout to a bunch of people so they can get rich. Then when they get rich and you realize, oh, it shot me in the foot. And you sit up and looking like, and so that's basically what we're looking at when we see that. Like, people think, oh, it's this. I'm like, even when people talk about wages, I said, bro, we'll say this and all that. But it ain't kept up with inflation since 1970. You gotta make it make sense, because you're hurting. If you hurt the consumer, which or the person who has to purchase things, not just mindless consumers. I mean, when I just want a loaf of bread. When you hurt that person and make it so, like, I collect comics. There's no reason why comics should be more than 75 cents. That's probably a lot. It should be like $1 at best. I mean, whatever the equivalent of that is in today's dollar, right? Whatever it was in 1970, if you didn't start putting gold in it, you see what I'm saying? And doing something rare to it, if it's made of the same materials, you have to explain to me how it changed. And therefore, we got a problem. So these are the type of things. That's why I tell you, when you look at monetary theory, that's why I always tell folks, there is no direct savior when it comes to this stuff. It requires a dealing with greed and people properly using tools. And that's the issue with AI. Whether AI is a tool or anything is a tool, or it's just another, because like I said, the biggest thing in the tech industry as a person who works in it is it sells a dream. It sells a dream. It oversells. It's a perfect, so that's why, people who are in it are often skeptical, because they oversell the dream. You see what I'm saying? When you got to be behind the screen with the Wizard of Oz, think of people like me as a person behind the screen, and the wizard be sitting up here talking all this trash. He's like, dude.
Yeah. Like, bro, I made your wand, bro. Your wand don't even work, bro.
Like, we out here, like, you be breaking that thing every. It's like people don't realize this is a bunch of cardboard that we strung together, man. What are you doing? So,
what you doing, bro?
And that's basically what they do. And like I said, this was all a hustle. So, because like I said, this Suno Udio, and I'm gonna leave it alone, but I just keep looking at it. I said, the absurdity of this, and we'll talk about this on another show. The update they got is already breaking their system. The quality is not being as good as they go up in the upgrade. So that means they had to make adjustments.
Yeah.
So the biggest argument, I would just walk in the courtroom and say, besides BBL Drizzy, could you show me exactly where we compete? Because it don't look like we compete. At best, the people that they were hurt, and they ain't even hurting them that much, would be the people who make the sample pack or something like that. And that means like at best it's the producer's aid. At best. Now people say, oh no, I'm making a whole amazing song. Yeah, I guess so. But I ain't seen nobody dropping no serious heat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like until I see that, I don't think we need to be happy. But I know what they're suing about. They're suing about control. So that they can control the gateway.
Yeah.
So because it really is a challenging. What you're seeing is, it's like I told you, two guys robbing one guy, and they get in the fighting over who finna rob.
Yeah.
So basically, they like, you know, they walk up on you, be like, you know, they see somebody else slide that gun on you, like, hold up, is you robbing my money? Like, no, you don't. Exactly, man. You better get back, man. Like, you don't even pistol whip it right.
Yeah.
You know, so you like, so basically that's the kind of industry, that's what we dealing with. So, but I know we didn't, you know, that's why I said I know we had some great topics. I didn't want to go super long and make the audience have to really listen.
Yeah.
But that's really where I think I close by saying I just want people to protect the artist, protect the citizen. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody needs to stand up and protect the artist and protect the citizen. Give the artists what they deserve. Give the citizens what they need. And whatever tools we come up with, they should be in service of and not be in conflict with our existence.
Right.
When you make it in conflict with our existence, and then we got a problem. And so, and who are the powers that be, as far as the corporate entities, we'll have a problem.
Yeah, utility.
Yep.
You gotta have some type of utility.
Exactly.
We'll close it up there, but I want to touch on the last thing, and it's just our next coming up topic. AI and agriculture, programming with AI, and we'll touch a little bit on Meta, what Meta is doing with the llama.
Oh yeah.
The llama AI.
Yeah.
We definitely got to touch on that. I started, I downloaded the source code or whatever, but I haven't started using anything yet. I'm going to probably play with it a little bit later on. And there was another topic, programming, agriculture with AI. And there was another AI topic. Can't think of it off the top of my head right now, but a lot of things AI, because that's the elephant in the room, and it's gonna be affecting pretty much every single industry.
Everything.
Yeah. It's just, like we used to say back in the day. I still use the phrase on the show: we here, we there, we everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
AI is here, there, and everywhere.
Yep.
It's been a good one, Fred.
All right,
Tell them where to find you, man. Once again.
Hey, again, like I said, you know, I'm working up on my Bad Magic page. And, you know, I'm about to, like I said, be releasing some material. And like I said, I'll be getting together with MasterMind, and we're going to be tinkering with some AI also. Just to show you guys the limits of what can be done with it and how to ethically use AI within music production and possibly within some art and stuff like that. Because I want to show people how to ethically use stuff also.
Right.
So that's it. So, because there's ethical way to use things as well. So, you know, you can't just poo-poo. You can't be a Luddite. You can't sit there and be like, put a genie back in the bottle and just whatever. I'm like, that ain't gonna win you no battles either. You gotta, there has to be a balancing act.
Oh yeah. Well, until next time, with all things AI and technology, it's been good, man. Right. We're gonna be jumping back in. Stay tuned for episode 3.
All right, bro.
We out here, y'all.
It's been a good one.
Peace.